Hey guys, it's Jessica Hayes. You guys know the drill. This is the look that I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial of, so keep watching. So I'm going to be taking the Smashbox primer oil and really moisturizing the face because I'm going to be using a super duper full coverage. Don't get it in your mouth. Gross. Full coverage foundation today. And usually I don't need too much moisture because my face does get a little bit oily, but this is a full coverage foundation and it's a little more on the matte side, so I just want to make sure that there's some nice dew showing through. So the foundation that I'm going to be using is the Cosette Infinite Stick foundation. I'm going to be taking this on the Kat Von D 10 brush. This is a really firm foundation brush and that's exactly why I'm using it. And I'm just gonna draw some little triangles onto the middle of the face and just start using that brush that already has that oil in it. So we'll be mixing it a little bit to apply this foundation to the face. The primerizer oil is going to act as a little bit of a mixing medium to sheer it down a little bit as well. Cosette does have a mixer for it that makes it a little more sheer as well. I just don't have it yet, but I'm planning on getting it. This is actually my first time using it with a primer oil. I used it the other night just with a normal, the Hourglass primer, and it was full coverage and matte and lasted a really long time. But as you probably know from watching this channel, I don't wear a ton of super duper full coverage foundations, but this one is meant to be something that you can kind of sheer down and make more of a medium coverage if you want. You just have to have the right tools to do that. Is my first time using the primer oil, so I'm not 100% sure how this will wear, but it is a primer oil and the Smashbox primers have proven well in the past, so I don't see why this would affect the longevity of the foundation. So I'm just going to use my favorite concealer, the Tarte Shape Tape, around my eyes. I've definitely realized that this is by far my favorite concealer. Absolutely lives up to all the hype it gets, and that is a lot of hype. So at first I didn't believe it because there was so much hype around it, but I find that it's the one that I constantly always reach to. I'm just going to apply a light amount using this Fearless brush of the Cosette C2 pressed powder just down the center of the face. So I'm just going to quickly set the eyes with the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. So for starters, I'm going to be taking this Cosette color. This is a matte shadow called Violacious. So I'm just going to start by applying this color into the crease of the eye. And then once enough has deposited off the brush, I'm just going to work it up past the crease, and we can work on buffing that up and over for a blown out look through the eye. And I'm going to grab the 165 brush that's somewhat clean. I do apologize, I have not had a single second to chill and clean my brushes. What would you guys rather, a video or clean brushes? So just use that just to buff the edge of that color off. Go ahead and just apply a little more. We're just kind of building that magenta color first. There was a little area right kind of here that wasn't blending as well as I want it to. So I'm just gonna dab my concealer brush just lightly over that blend area right there. I'm trying to use patting motions rather than swiping or pulling motions. This actually usually happens to me in that area right there because I feel like it's kind of where my bone structure sticks out a little bit. So use that, just dabbing, nothing else on it. And then I'm going to go back to this brush that we're using to blend and just blend over that again and see if that kind of fixes the problem just a little bit. There we go, that's better. Now for under the eyes, I'm going to take this e.l.f. waterproof metallic liner. I'm just going to scribble that directly underneath the lash line. I'm just going to use this little Marc Jacobs brush just to smudge that out a little bit so it's not just a harsh line. Next I'm going to grab this Cosette matte color, this is Vision, and then just pat that color over the pencil. And then I'm also going to just bring it up into the crease here as well. take the tip of that brush that we were using before to blend and just blend that into the crease. Are you guys seeing how beautifully and buttery these shadows blend? I'm obsessed. Don't blame me if this just becomes the Cosette eyeshadow channel now. So just use a tiny bit of that Vision color on the tip of this brush just to blend underneath the eye. Next I'm going to go back in it with a little bit of that first Violaceous color, and then I'm just going to buff the hell out of the underneath of my eyes. Grab that big brush again. Remember, this brush has nothing on it, and just use that to buff underneath and this outer corner as well. Once you're done blending, just grab your foundation brush and just pat it very gently along that blend just to the shape of your eye. This will just kind of clean up any little bits and also give a flattering shape to the face. So for the lid of the eye, I'm going to be using this Milk Makeup pigment. This is the color Rave, and it's just a cream pigment. I'm just going to use my finger just to tap that onto the eye. Make sure you don't do it too thick. This is very pigmented, so you just need a really small amount. I was so excited to learn this week that Milk Makeup are 100% vegan now, which is awesome. Always been cruelty free as well. Now this eye pigment stuff, once it's on, it is on. It stays so well. I had a little swatch on the back of my hand and it was pretty hard to remove. So just keep that in mind. I'm just slowly building up on the lid, starting on the lower lid first and then whatever's left on my finger and just kind of tapping up into the crease of the eye. I'm just gonna grab just the tiniest little bit onto this Marc Jacobs smudge brush as well and just buff that underneath the eye. I'm just gonna put that close to the lash line as well because it is an eye pigment. I don't think it's gonna get that same kind of blend and diffusion as a powder shadow would, so I want to keep that blend underneath, so I'm just gonna use it close to the lash line. So I'm gonna take the Lime Crime Unicorns highlight palette, and this is the color Daydreamin', and I'm just gonna pop that onto the inner corner of the eye right here. For the cheeks, I'm going to grab my favorite contour ever. This is Makeup Geek Breakup, and this is the Furless Cosmetics It's Likely Makeup Brush in Pro 2F. I'm just gonna use that just to chisel the cheeks just a little bit. For the apples of the cheeks, I'm gonna take this Nabla blush in Happitude, just a little bit onto the apples and dust it back into the contour. Then I'm gonna go back to that highlight that we were using, and this is the It's Likely Makeup Pro 5M brush. I'm just gonna grab that on the outer tip of that brush and just buff along the cheekbones. I'm gonna grab my concealer brush and just from under the brow, I'm just gonna sweep that over this blend out here because it's definitely longer on this side than it is on the other. Nabla Uranus brow pencil just to slightly do my brows. I don't want to have them too strong. Just fill in any little bits that are a little sparse. Then I'm just going to use this little e.l.f. brow mascara just to brush the brows up. I'm going to take this little baby bottle of Freck and just darken up my moles. Doing this and making it look natural can give you the illusion of not wearing as much foundation as you actually are. So usually just dab it on, and then once it's a little dry, I'll just pat over with my finger or my makeup brush. I'm gonna apply just a little bit of the Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions mascara. Not too much because I'm gonna be doing lashes anyways. But I always add mascara when I'm doing lashes because I don't want my lashes underneath to be looking dusty with eyeshadow or not as black as the lashes. And it also is good because once you put mascara on and then you put the lashes on, you can kind of stick your mascara lashes to the lash extensions. So I'm gonna be using these fluffy bad boys from Taking Care of Lashes. This is the style, the Flash. Look how fluffy these are, you guys. Ooh. So I'm just taking a little bit of Duro Glue and running it along the lash, waiting for it to dry a little bit. And while I do that, I'll just kind of curl the lash in this way just to form it to my lash band so it's nice and curved as well and it has no more risk of sticking up. Lay that on the lash band and hold just for a little bit. Oh, I like that. I like how it's piecey so that you can still see the shadow on the lid as well. Once you have them both on, you can see this one's pushed up a little higher than the other and this one's nice and low. I like them being a little lower. I'm just gonna crimp my lashes together with my mascara lashes because you don't want your own lash hanging straight underneath your nice curled lashes. And with these ones, I'm just gonna push them down just a little bit. Same thing on that side, just kind of press your own lashes to the fake lashes. I love these lashes. I feel like I need more bottom mascara now though. So for the lips, the look that I did on Instagram, I used this Feral Cosmetics Euphoric color, which is kind of similar to Melt Darling, but way creamier. And then I just buffed it onto the lips because by itself it's very opaque, as you can see. So I just kind of did one layer, buffed it into the lips with my finger just a little bit. Then I got a little bit of the highlight color that we were using and popped that through the center. And then I just took a little bit of the lip gloss Boss in clear with a bigger style brush. Really lacquered the lips with that. I accidentally got some lash glue right there on the lid of my eye, so I'm just gonna grab a little bit of that Milk Makeup eye pigment on this tiny little brush and just dab over it. You can either do that or just pick the eyelash glue off with a mascara one as well. Both work just as well. Grab that highlighter again and just add a little more so that you can see me from outer space. Ha ha ha. If you do have any problems with any kind of bits that you need to buff out a little bit, like I just see a little kind of doop right there, I'm just gonna use my blush just because it's a little more on the sheer side. Blushes will usually be a little more sheer than shadows. And I'm just gonna use that on the tip of this big fluffy Cosette brush, 165, which I need like 5,000 of because they're so damn good. And just use that to buff out that little bit that won't blend so well over there. Sometimes if I'm doing more of a neutral look, I'll use just a little bit of bronzer over certain areas to buff it out as well. Keeping it dewy, so I'm gonna use the Kat Von D Lock-It Spray. And that is it, my friends. This purpley, blown out, it's kind of a little bit 80s-ish looking look. This was a look that I did. It was inspired by my friend Stephanie, who has a band called Ladisse, and I went and saw them play the other night, and their genre is dream pop, so I don't know, this just gives me like dream poppy vibes, but blowing it out and making it a little more grungy in my style. I kind of almost had all odds against me to film this video actually. Well, for starters, I just wanted to lay on the couch and nap. As you guys know, I do only film every 2 weeks. So while I love creating for you guys, it does take up a whole day off for me. And I kind of had a little wine fest about it on Instagram this morning. So I appreciate you guys wanting to see more videos, but at this point I'm not going to be able to create any more content than one video every other week, just so I can have a life. So I appreciate you guys understanding that. Second thing was none of my batteries were charged, so I got my ass up off the couch in here, started to film, and my battery died. And I also couldn't find the little thingy that screws into the bottom of your camera that holds it to the tripod. So my camera is just ever so slightly just balancing right there in front of me. So luckily it didn't fall off this whole time. So that's a thumbs up for that. But we got it done. We got it done real good, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, you know what to do. Comment, like, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks for my next video.